Welcome back. Now typically when you're working with an image inside of your canvas, the menu you'll be working with most often will be inside of the image menu and the tools menu. And what you're going to find is a list of things that you can use in order to manipulate the image, add to the image, brand the image, and have it do what you want it to do. And what you'll notice is that there are 19 elements for you to use. There's also a favorites tab to allow you to indicate it. When you choose one of the tool elements and you click on top of it, what you'll see is that there will be properties of that tool in the right side menu. For example, you'll see the properties of the stamp tool. You'll see the properties of the pen tool and properties of the magnify tool. Now this course, we're obviously not going to go through each and every one of the tools. What we will do is to highlight some of the tools that you're likely to use most often. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome. You're now looking at the Techsmith.com website, and in particular, you're looking at the section for Snagit, its screen capture program. Snagit is designed to work on your desktop computer, whether it's Windows or Mac, to capture a screenshot or a video. It's also made to take that screenshot and to help you to be able to annotate it with identifying information. What this does is it allows you to create detailed and accurate graphics for your instructional content. The program integrates with other applications, specifically both Microsoft and Google, in addition to Evernote, YouTube, Dropbox, and others. Now, although the program is not Camtasia, it does function as a screen recorder, allowing you to record yourself working through specific steps. That means then that you are allowed to record your webcam as well as audio content. You can create animated GIFs, trim down video clips, and then record your entire iOS screen. Now Snagit starts with a free trial as well as allowing you to buy the program outright. It's possible that you may already have a version of Snagit on your personal computer. In that case, you can upgrade that version for less than the full price. And we'll talk about that in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to work with the file menu of the Snagit editor. And to do that, we're first going to go to the left-hand corner. We're then going to go to the file area. Now, one of the first things you're going to see here is that you can open up what's called either a new image or a new capture. Now, new capture is going to bring the selection bars for a new capture. However, a new image gives you a new canvas where you can place other content that you have either already created or you can create new content. So we're going to click New Image. What we can do then is we can determine the size of our image and the color of the background. Now in those cases, what you're going to do is you're going to create a transparent background. And you're going to see that here with the checkered indicator. So we can determine that we want our image to be 500 pixels by 500 pixels. We can write that in. Once we have it, we can then click Create. That's going to give us a new canvas. And basically what we can do then in this canvas is we can start creating content inside of here or creating an image that we want to have. What we can also do is we can open up recent captures that we've already done. So what you're going to want to do is you'll notice here that your captures are being stated in terms of date. And so this is an indicator that what you want to do is when you complete a capture is to rename the file so that you'll have it, and if you want to use it again, you'll be able to go back and use Snagit to find it again. The file command allows you to duplicate a capture. So if you're working with something and what you want to do is you want to duplicate it so you'll have it for later, you can click this duplicate button. That's going to duplicate what's on your canvas, and then you can save it as another file. What you can also do is you can import content from either Google Drive or from OneDrive, as well as being able to export content. So for example, if you have your Google Drive connected, what you're going to do is to go to this import command. You're then going to click on Import from Google Drive. And if you have a file that is an image file, you can typically click on top of that file and then click on the import button to bring it into your Snagit editor. And we now have our content to work with on our canvas. In the same vein, we can export content. So for example, if we click this export button, we can export any content that we've already saved. Now let's close out of this image, and let's assume then that what we're going to do is we're going to save this file that we are currently working with. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our file, we're going to go back to our export command, and we're going to see our file here in this area. We can add in any other files from any other locations that we want. And so we're going to go through the prompts. Once we have this export, we're going to choose effects in order to add to it. For example, even if what we wanted to do was to rotate our image 90 degrees clockwise, we can apply that when we export the file. What we're going to do is we're going to choose the area where we want the file to be exported, as well as the format we want it to be exported in. We can determine what the file name is going to be. In other words, we can keep the file name, or we can create an automatic file name. If we go into the options, we can change the file name and the numbering. We'll then click OK. Then we'll click Next. And then we'll be able to export our file to a place that we'll be able to use it later. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. In order to start with Snagit, you can start with the free trial. This will allow you to download a full version of Snagit for 15 days. Or if you already know that you want the program, you can go to this button and you can buy the program outright. As of the recording of this video, the current version of Snagit is $49.95. You can buy an additional year of maintenance for $12.49. Now it's possible that you may have a current version of Snagit on your personal computer. If that's the case, you can go to this help area. You can click on this link that says check for updates. And when you click that link, you're going to come up with this dialog box. You're going to click the Learn More button. That's going to bring you to an area where you can upgrade your Snagit version. And we're going to go ahead and click this upgrade button. We're going to go ahead and add the additional year of maintenance, then click Add to Cart. We're then going to go to Checkout. Now what you can do is you can opt to have your card billed on an annual basis, and if you already have an account for Snagit or for Camtasia, you can use that account by signing in here. Once we have our order, we're going to download the Snagit installer. If you still have the old version open while you're doing the install, you're going to need to close that version. Once you've done that manually, you'll then click this button that says Close Snagit. You'll then want to make sure that you read the license terms, and once you do that, you'll then click Accept. You'll then click Install. You'll then go through the install process. Once the process is complete, you can then click Continue. What you'll then want to do is to enter your software key. Once you do that, your Snagit window will then be on your desktop. You'll then be ready for your use. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now within the file command, there are two other areas that you're likely to use. First, if you go to the file command, you can print. And so you can print anything that you have in your current screen. What you'll want to do first is you'll want to go to the page setup, and this is where you'll determine how you want your print to look. So for example, if you wanted to reposition the image, you want to determine what kind of paper you're going to print the image on, and then you're going to click OK. If you want to have the file name on here, you can do that. Click OK. You can come back to the file command. You can do a print preview. You'll see how your image is going to look. Once you have your print preview available, you can then click the printer button. And if you're not going to print physically, you can print this image to an Adobe PDF file. Another thing you can do is to connect your mobile device. And what you're going to need to do first is you're going to need to download the mobile app from Techsmith.com onto your mobile device. Now there are 3 mobile apps that you can use. You can use Techsmith Capture. You can use Techsmith Motion. And you can use Techsmith Fuse. And you'll notice that inside of your capture program, you can indicate that your shared destination is going to be your Snagit installation. You'll then click Connect New Device. You'll then need to scan the appropriate QR code. Once you do that, your device will be connected, and then your content will be shareable to your Snagit account. Inside of Techsmith views, the process is the same. You'll click the Snagit. You'll then click Connect New Device. You'll come back to the same screen, and then you'll connect your device. The process is the same with Techsmith Motion. You'll click Get. You'll open up your app. You'll then click the Settings. You'll then click Snagit, and then you'll connect your new device. You'll then come back to your File command. You'll then click Connect New Mobile Device, and your device is now connected. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, there are three primary ways that you can operate Snagit, and you're going to see the Snagit menu, which you can move around your personal computer or your screen wherever you want it to be. There's also your Snagit editor, and this is where you'll be working with your screenshots once you create them. If you want to open the editor, you can use your menu and open up the editor by clicking this link. That's going to bring you into the Snagit editor. Now, this is grayed out in this case, but you're going to be logged into the Snagit editor, giving you access to the Techsmith server. What we're now going to do is we're going to minimize the Snagit editor. You'll then see your screen again, and the other thing that you'll have available to you will be the one-click screen. And you're going to see here that what we're going to do is move our cursor toward the one-click screen. That's going to bring down the area that you can use in order to start your screen share captures. In order to exit Snagit altogether, all you'll need to do is to go to this area, and there you'll be able to edit Snagit. What you can also do is go to the view screen. You're going to see there that it says hide one click. That's going to get rid of your one-click window that we had right here at the top. If you want to bring that one-click window back, you're going to go to the view screen. You're going to click show one click. That's going to be here at the top, and you'll be able to have it available to you. Now, if you're using multiple screens, you can take that one-click menu and you can move it other places, not only on your first screen, but you can move it off your screen altogether into an area of your personal computer. And what we're going to do here is we're going to bring the one-click menu back. What you're going to notice when we put it down near the end or near the middle, it goes over off your screen so that it's out of your way. In order to get it back, all you'll do is hover over it. That'll bring the menu where you want it to be. And those are going to be the basics of operating Snagit on your interface. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, there's also an edit menu. And the functions here are as you would expect them to be when you're working with an image on your canvas. However, one thing that you'll want to take note of is going to be your editor preferences. And this is going to help you to customize how the editor works when you're using it. The general preferences work with basic appearance. The editor preferences allows you to do things like spell check and determine the thumbnail size that you're working with. You have your sharing outputs available, as well as how your library functions. If you're unfamiliar with the library, as well as how the library actually functions. In the advanced section, you can determine that your editor will always run in the background, or you can take this out by default. Now, one thing that you'll want to be aware of are the file associations. And basically, depending on which kind of operating system you're using, you can determine that Snagit will be the default application to work with certain images and file types. So in this case, we're going to follow this function in Windows 10 by going to the Settings, Apps, and Default Apps. For example, if you know that you are going to want to work with Snagit as your photo viewer, you can change it here. You'll come to this area, you'll click Choose Default Apps by File Type. We can then come and click on the JPEG Photos area. We can then click on JPEG, and then we can make it so that anytime we open up a JPEG file, we can use the Snagit editor that we have. We can do the same thing with a PNG file. So for example, now when we go to a PNG file and we open this file, we'll be opening this file into our Snagit editor. And you'll see now that double-clicking that file directly from our hard drive opens up into the default application, which is now Snagit. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now inside your Snagit menu, you're going to have your basic settings. Now again, you can move this Snagit menu to your taskbar by using the minimize key. You can bring it back by going to click on Snagit. That's going to bring it back to where you want it to be. You have some basic settings. Basically, if you want to make sure that your capture or screenshot is automatically previewed inside of your editor, you're going to indicate that with this control. If you want it to be copied to the clipboard, you're going to indicate it with this control. So this will also move the capture to your clipboard automatically. If you want to make sure to capture the cursor inside of your image, you can do that. If you don't want to, you can turn that off. Now, in order to set up your captures, what you can do is you can turn on a 5-second delay, which the process will not start right away until you get fully set up. Again, by default, this is going to be turned off. One tab down, you have specific settings for your image. If you want to grab the text inside of an image, you can indicate that inside of this control. You can also grab a specific region, window. You can grab the full screen or scrolling window. And again, we're going to be looking at these in other videos. You can have certain effects in what you capture, and you're going to be able to indicate that here in this menu. And you have all the same controls if you're grabbing an image. And one of the things you're going to notice is that when you're using the grab text, there are going to be some of these controls that are not going to be available. When you're grabbing a specific region, those options will come back. Now, of course, with Snagit, you can capture and create a video. If you're going to do that, you have options that are going to be available to you. If you want to have your webcam as part of the capture, you can turn that on. You can also make sure to capture your microphone or your voice while you're doing your capture. You're going to see that you can capture a region or window when you're doing video, and that you can share your video into certain places. For example, when you complete your video, you can have it shared into Screencast, Camtasia in order to be edited, or some other areas for your video. So before you start a series of screen captures, you're going to want to set your preferences before you start the process. If you determine that you're going to do an image, you're going to do these settings. If you're going to be capturing into a video, you're going to be working with these settings. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You're going to see a Snagit menu across the top, and basically each of these menu items control certain functions. If you go into the file area, what you can do is you can import presets from other Snagit installations that you have. You can export your presets so that you can use them on Snagit if it is installed on another personal computer. You can use this link to close your capture window. It typically means you can bring it back by going to this area and clicking on it to bring it back. You also have your preferences as to how Snagit treats your captures. You're going to click Cap Preferences, and you're going to be able to control how Snagit does your captures. And again, most of this you'll want to look at again once you actually start doing your captures. You have capture, specific preferences, as well as hotkeys. And again, you're going to use your hotkeys using Snagit on a regular basis. One thing to note is that when you have Snagit installed, you can use your print screen button on your keyboard wherever it is. If you click the print screen button, you're going to see your capture window become available to you. In order to make the capture lines go away, you're going to click the escape button. And then you'll see that your capture window will come back. In the edit screen, you can reset all of your current settings. You can also manage your custom program destinations. You can control different aspects of the programs that your images can open into. So for example, we can control how Snagit uses MS Paint. We can control how Snagit uses Adobe Photoshop. When we're doing videos, we can control how Snagit uses Windows Media Player. We also have a view command. It's here that we're going to have our output preferences. When you open up, basically you're going to be able to control how Snagit interacts with your output. And in each case, you'll be able to customize all of your output available settings. Now again, some of this you'll want to leave on the default until you actually start using some of these settings on a regular basis. And then in your help menu, you have other logistical aspects of using Snagit. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now we're going to start with the capture window that we have here on our screen, and we're going to use the all-in-one capture feature. And basically what we're going to start by doing is clicking this capture button. We are going to use the default settings, which is Snagit will then take the image that we create and put it into the Snagit editor. We're not going to copy it into our clipboard. We are going to include the cursor in our capture. We're going to leave off the 5-second delay. So what we're going to do is we're going to click this capture button. Now remember, what we can also do is we can click the print screen button, but for the sake of this video, what we're going to do is we're going to click the capture button. What we're then going to see are going to be the capture parameters. And basically what we're going to do without clicking on our mouse is we're going to move it to the uppermost point that we're going to start our capture. And then we're going to click on the mouse button, and then we're going to start to draw the capture screen. Once we've drawn the entirety of the capture screen that we want, we're then going to release the mouse button. And then our capture is then ready for us to decide what we want to do with the capture. What we can do is decide to turn this capture into an image. When we click on this image, what's going to happen is that the capture is then going to open into the Snagit editor. And this is where we can use the menu items to begin to work with our image. What we can do then with this image is we can take the file command. We can then save this image as the form that we want it to be. We're going to click Save As. Now we can save this as a number of different kinds of images as demonstrated by this drop-down menu. So what we're going to do is decide to save this as a PNG file, and we're going to give this file a name. What we're then going to do is click the Save button. What you're then going to notice here at the bottom of our editor, you're going to see our image that we have available to us, and you're also going to see the form that we saved it to. What we're now going to do is we're going to minimize the Snagit editor window, and we're going to do that in this area at the top right. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we are going to work with the image menu, and we're going to go to the tools menu. When we go to the tools menu, we're going to then look at the shape element. You're going to notice then that that gives us styles to work with. That means then each one of these styles can be operated with the tool properties. If we pick the style that we want and we work with the properties, what we can do is we can then draw that style here in this area, and then we have access to work with this style in whatever way we want to use it. For example, if we decide that what we want to do is we want it to be filled, we can do that, and then we can draw our shape on our canvas. And we'll have the shape in here as we specify it inside of the style area. We're now going to delete this shape. We're going to go back to our image menu. We're then going to the tools menu. We're now going to pick our stamps. And what you're going to notice in the stamps menu is that you have a search area. And basically what you want to do is you want to write in the theme of what you may be looking for. And so what we're going to do is we're going to write in what we're looking for. We're going to write in the word computer. And then you'll see the search elements there. We're going to select one of the stamps. We're then going to draw our stamp inside of our screen. We can click on the screen and we can size it up. And so the stamps allow you to place theme-related content on your screenshot. Demonstrating this again, we're going to write in the word office. And you're going to see an icon for office come up. We're going to click on that office. And because we had the area highlighted, you'll notice then that the image changes to the office. And so now we have worked with both the stamp as well as the shape tool. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now we're going to create the same image with our all-in-one menu again. We're going to click the capture button. We're going to go to the upper left-hand corner, and basically we're going to draw the same image again. And this time we're going to bring it into our feature window here, and this time what we're going to do is we're going to click this button that says record a video. When we click that button, then Snagit will then initiate a video, and basically we'll be recording a video. Now you will have a mic enabled available to you, and that will be recording this area. And basically when we have completed our recording, we're then going to push this button, or we can click the Shift 9 button to end the recording. That's then going to bring us to this point. It's then going to replay the video. We'll then click the Finish Recording button. That's going to bring the video into the Snagit editor. And basically you're going to see the video that you just created. What you're going to do then is you're going to go to your File command. You're then going to save this video as the format that you want it to be. In this case, you can save it as an MP4 file. We're going to give your MP4 file a name, and then we're going to click the Save button. Now what we can also do is we can download this same video as a GIF file or as a PNG. And basically when we save these as these formats, we'll be saving frames if we're not saving the entire video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now Snagit gives you tools to work with the image that you have inside of your editor. And when you click on that image in order to bring it into your editing screen, what you can do is you can use the menus in order to work with the image. Now many of these tools are going to be across your top toolbar. And if you use them frequently, you can use them in this area. However, you'll find a comprehensive list of the tools inside of your menu. And so in this case, what we can do is we can go to the image area, and you're going to notice that there is a drop-down menu of tools. For example, one tool that we can turn on will be the arrow tool. And when you turn on any tool, what you're going to find is that you have a properties menu on your right side, as well in some cases as some styles. So the case with the arrow is that we'll choose a theme of a kind of arrow that we want to draw. So for example, we can use the urban theme, and then we can draw a certain kind of arrow. Now one of the things we can do is we can change the arrow using the tool properties. We can change the color. We can change the shadow. You're going to notice here that what we can do is we can change this inside of this area. Or we can make it so that there will be no shadow here at all. We can change the line style, and we'll have a certain kind of arrow. Now once you've decided on what kind of arrow that you want, what you'll need to do then is you'll need to draw that arrow. And when you place your cursor inside the image, you're going to notice that the cursor changes in shape. You're going to press down on your mouse button, and you're going to be drawing the arrow. You can control the direction of the arrow by changing the direction of the mouse. That's a good idea once you've made a change to then save the image that you have. And you don't have to save it to any particular form. So for example, what we can do here, is we can then save this image, and we're going to save it as a new Snagit image. And we're just going to call this a Snagit capture file. We're going to give this a new name. You're then going to notice that you have your Snagit capture file here in this area, and in order to refer back to it, you can click on it at any time to get back to it. So for example, one of the things we can do, if we want to go back to the image that's a PNG file, we can click on that image and we'll then have access to work with it. If we want to click on the Snagit file, we click on this one, and then that becomes part of our active window. So what we can do now with this window is that we can now add in other tools. So what we can do here is go to our image, we can then go to our tools, we can then add in text. What you're then going to see is you have here a text set of styles and a text set of properties. We can then change those properties to be what we want them to be. Once we have that, we can choose our theme, and then we can begin to write our text in. You'll notice here that the text is highlighted. When we place our cursor here, what we're going to do here is we're then going to draw here a box. And you're going to notice now that we have a text box. If we want to change the style of the font, we can do that. And then continue to update the image here in this area. So we've now looked at a few basic tools of working with your Snagit image. We'll now look at some of the other tools to help you to do more advanced work. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. This time we're going to go to a wider page so that we can capture a wider area. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our capture window back. And basically we're going to do the same thing that we did before. What we're going to do is click the capture button. We're then going to go to this uppermost corner in the left-hand side. We're going to capture part of the window. And then we're going to release the mouse button. That's going to bring us to this stage. And basically what we're going to do then is we're then going to launch a panoramic capture. And to do that, we're going to click this button. What that's going to do is it's going to allow us to capture more of the screen. And we're going to do that in a panoramic sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to click this start button. And basically what we're going to do is we're then going to scroll the content into the selected area. So we're going to use our scroll button. And then what we're going to do is then click the stop button. We're then going to process the capture. It's then going to bring our scroll window into this capture editor. And then we can save this as an image in the way that we want to save it. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now we can edit any image that we're working with by highlighting the element that we want to get rid of. In this case, when we highlight this word videos, you're going to notice that the text element is highlighted. All we'll need to do is to hit the delete button. Then that element goes away. If we take our cursor and we touch and click on top of this arrow, you're going to notice the arrow is going to highlight. The arrow styles will open. We can then click the delete button. That arrow then goes away. If we want to bring them back, we can click the undo button, and we can go backwards those steps in order to bring them back. We're going to go ahead and delete these elements. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to our image menu, going to go to the tools, and then we're going to work with the callout element. You're then going to notice then that the properties menu is going to change. Now with callouts, you're going to be able to add in your callout based on what you place here inside of this area. If you want to change some of the colors that are going to be available to you, you can do that. Once you do that, then you're going to come to your area and you're going to draw your callout. When you do that, what you'll notice here with a callout is that you're going to have text available to you, the font sizing that you want. If you want to change the font size, you can do that. And And basically you have the element that you want here in terms of your callout. Once you have that callout, you can move it to any other place that you want to have on the screen. And you have control over how the callout looks. Everything up to even how the text is going to be aligned inside of the callout, as well as how wide it goes and how clear it is. So you have ultimate control over what you place inside of this area. In this case, we're going to delete this image from our Snagit capture. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to work with resizing your image as well as your canvas. And you can do that inside of this area. You're going to go to this menu. And basically, the first thing we're going to look to is the Resize Image link. Now basically, what we're going to do is we're going to determine what we want the size to be. Now, one of the things you want to note is that if you keep the aspect ratio locked, you're going to be able to keep the sizing consistent. You can also change the measurement to inches, centimeters, or percentage. We're going to start by changing the width. And when we change the width, what you're going to notice is that the height is going to change also. We also have advanced features. We can determine what we want the resolution to be for the image once we've completed it. We can then click Apply. And once we do that, then we have a new image. We can then go to our image and we can save the image in the format that we want. We can also resize the canvas where we're working. We can click Resize Canvas. And what you're going to notice is that in this case, our canvas is the size of the image. However, we can resize the canvas, we can keep the aspect ratio, or we can widen out our aspect ratio. We're now going to click OK. You're going to notice now that we have a bigger canvas, even though we have an image that stays the same size that we can work with. What we can then do is we can trim the canvas down to the size of the image. We can go to this image link, we click Trim. That brings the size of the canvas down to the image. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another. Welcome back. We're going to come back to the all-in-one tool, and then we're going to do a panoramic scrolling image. We're going to click the Capture button. And what we're going to do is we're going to then draw our picture. When we do this, what we want to do is we want to set the width of the picture. So for example, we are going to then draw this entire width because we want to capture the entire width even as we scroll through it. What we're then going to see is we're going to see our panoramic window as well as the size. We're then going to click our panoramic window button. That's going to give us this button to start our panoramic capture. Now, because we already have the entire width, all we need to do now is create the length, and we're going to do that by scrolling. So basically, we can use our scroll button on our mouse, or we can use the down arrow, whichever one works on your PC. And if you look down in the bottom right-hand corner of the window, you're going to see how our image is progressing as we scroll through it. And you'll see that it's getting wider as well as longer. Once we've completed this image, we can click Stop. The image will then be processed, and then it's going to come up into our editing screen. And you'll see the entire window here. So basically what you want to try to do is you want to try to set your width first, and then you want to scroll down and set the width. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, when you have an image inside of your canvas, you can go to the image menu and you can rotate that image. And so in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to hover over this area, and you'll notice that we have 4 choices for rotation. We can rotate clockwise, counterclockwise, or 180 degrees, or we can even determine a custom angle. Now, for the sake of this example, we're going to rotate this image counterclockwise. And you're going to see how this image rotates. And of course, if we want to undo it and go back to the way the image was, we can click the undo button. What we can also do in the image menu is by going to the image, we can turn on or off canvas snapping. What this basically means is that the canvas will automatically snap to the edges of the images on your canvas. If we turn off the canvas snapping and we open up an image, then the image will be within a specific canvas. If we turn off canvas snapping, then the image will fall within the canvas that you have available to you. We can also change the canvas color, and we can click this canvas color, and we can indicate what we want the canvas color to be, and we can do that by going to this area. We can either change based on the eyedropper, or we can choose our color. So in this case, we can choose our color. We can click OK. And then when we expand the image, what you're going to see here is that our canvas is going to open up and it's going to change to that color here in this area. So basically, we can control the nature of the canvas as well as the appearance of the selection by using these image control tools. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. If we go one step down in our capture window, you're going to see three drop-down boxes. You're going to see a selection box, an effects box, and a share box. Now, the selection box will allow you to be specific about the area that you're going to be grabbing. So, for example, you can choose to grab a specific region. And if that's the case, when you click the capture button, you're going to be able to specify the region of the screen, and you're going to be able to do that by selection. You're going to be able to capture the entire window. If that's the case, when you click the capture button, you'll then be capturing the entire window, as you can see. We're now going to click the escape button. We can choose to capture the full screen. We click capture. That's going to allow us to capture the full screen. We can choose to capture a scrolling window. That's going to be similar to the panoramic window. When we click scrolling window, we're going to click capture, and then this is going to open us up into the window. And what we can do is we can click the arrows so we can capture a vertical scrolling area. In this case, we're just going to click the down arrow, and then what's going to happen is that Snagit is going to scroll for you and process your entire capture using the automatic controls. You can also do the panoramic window, which you can do in the all-in-one area. And you can do something interesting called grab text. In this case, we're going to click this link. We're going to capture. And then what we're going to do is we're going to highlight a specific area. In this case, we're going to highlight this area of our screen. That's going to bring us into an editing window. And instead of just giving us the image, Snagit is going to grab the text, and we can then use this text in our content. Now, there are also advanced features, and if we go to this advanced menu, you're going to see that we can capture a specific object. We can also select multiple areas. So in this case, we click capture, and what we would do is we would select the multiple areas. We'd select one area. We can select a second area. Once we release the mouse, we can then click Finish. That's going to bring us into our editor, and you're going to notice that we have two images inside of our editor. Now lastly, we're going to skip down to the file, because what we can do with the file capture is we can click this capture button, and basically that's going to have us look to our hard drive. We can grab a specific image or a specific file. We can indicate that file here. We can open that file into our editor, and you'll see the file open in our editor here. So basically, the selection tab allows us to select something specific and then use it in our content. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Now within the image tab, you will make a specific selection. Now each selection then can have an effect with it. So for example, we can do the file selection, and then we can then capture that file with a specific effect. So for example, let's assume that we're going to capture the file, and we're going to do so with a border. Now once we use that border, we can then click on this settings gear, and then we can do some settings. So for example, we can widen the border, we can change the color of the border, and then once we have it the way we want it, we can then capture. And then we're going to choose the file. We're then going to click open, and you'll see the image now captured with a border around it for us to be able to use with our content. We can also use a filter. In this case, we're going to click on the settings gear, and then we're going to choose a specific filter. So for example, we can say that what we want to do is to invert the colors. And then we can then capture the image. We'll click capture. We'll open it into our editor. And you'll see now that the colors of the image have changed. The original colors looked with this background. However, with colors inverted, our image looks different. In addition to the filters, we can also use a shadow. We're going to click capture. We're going to grab our image. And then our editor is going to open again. When our editor opens, we'll then see the shadow that we have on. We can also, with our selection, create capture information. If we click on the gear icon, we can determine how much info we're going to place with the image once it is captured, as well as to customize that information. For example, in this case, we can customize the font. We can then click capture. So basically, we can capture the image using any of the menu items that we have here in order to enhance our overall image. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, Snagit will organize and arrange all of the captures that you have done with the program, even in previous versions. And all you'll need to do is to go to your library area that you see on the left side. And if you click on switch to library, what you're going to see is that Snagit will arrange those captures in terms of images. So if you click on the images link, what you're going to see is you're going to see all of the images that you have on your personal computer, on your hard drive associated with Snagit. You're also going to see any videos that you have created using Snagit, as well as any animated GIFs that you have used the capture program to create. You'll also see your captures organized by those that are going to be the most recent. You'll see them organized by date. And then you'll have a date organized selection of your captures here, and you'll see them organized by year. And if you go to the drop-down menu, you'll see them organized by month. You'll also be able to see any captures that you have associated with specific applications. So for example, if you took screen captures of Microsoft PowerPoint, you'll be able to see those captures here in this area. And if you have captures associated with specific websites, you'll see them here organized by website. And what you'll see here is the importance of using tags on your images. So if you want to tag your images, you'll be able to easily find them by coming to your library. So if we go back to your editor, and we come back to the image on our canvas, what we can do is we can click the assign a tag link, and we can assign a specific tag. We'll click this create a new tag, and then if we go back to our library and we check our tags, we'll see our tag organizing our image. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, in order to work with an image, in some cases, you're going to have to adjust the size of the screen or adjust the size of the canvas in order to see everything that you want to do. And you're going to use the View menu to accomplish that. Now, we're going to cover the Zoom portion of the menu in a separate video. Now, one of the things that you can do inside of your View menu is to change the background color. So, for example, you can customize the color by going to this link, or you can choose one of the colors that are already available in order to change the background area. You can go back to the View command. You can change the background color to whatever you want it to be. And one of the other things you can do inside of the View menu is that you can choose whether to have your sidebar. You can have it removed. You can bring the sidebar back. You can also share the details of a particular image. And you'll be able to see those details inside of a window. You can close out of that window. You can make it so that the library shows, or you can make it so that the library does not show. Now, the bottom area, you're going to notice that you have all of your recent captures here in this area. You can make it so that those captures do not show. Now, one of the things you can do is you can show the actual size of your image. You can do that here by using this link. That'll bring you to the actual size of your image, and in those cases you may not want to work with it at that level. If that's the case, what you're going to do is you're going to use the other menu, which is the zoom in and zoom out menu, which we will cover in another video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, one of the things you can do with the effects box is you can do 2 effects at a time. So for example, let's say that we were going to continue. We were going to use a border. But then what we also wanted to do was we wanted to add in another effect. So what we can do is we can then click Add Another Effect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a second effect. In this case, we're going to add in a filter effect. Now we're going to customize each effect. In this case, we're just going to customize the border. We're then going to customize our filter also. We're going to invert the color. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add in another effect. This time we're going to add in another effect, and we're going to add in the capture info effect. So now we basically have 3 effects that we're going to be capturing at the same time. So we're going to go to our capture button. We're going to capture, in this case, a file. We're going to open up that file. It's going to open up into our editing screen with the 3 effects inside of that image. And you're going to see all 3 of them here. If we want to go back and we want to redo the same image with different effects, what we can do is we can then remove the effects if we don't like them and the way that they came out, and then we can capture the image again. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now also within the Image tab, there is also a Share drop-down menu box. And you're going to see all of the ways in which you can share and output your file. And you're going to see, first, desktop-related formats. You're also going to see program-related formats, also in your desktop. And then you're also going to see cloud-based services. Within there, you also have, if you own Camtasia and Techsmith Relay, you can output your content into those 2 Techsmith related programs. Now in this video, we're going to cover the form or file related objects. So for example, we can output or share our content in the form of a file. So what we'll do here is we're then going to capture the image. And what we're going to do is we're going to change it to a specific region. Now before we capture the region, we're going to specify a specific file. We're going to click our gear, and then we're going to determine the file type. Now this file is turned into a PDF. What we're then going to do is we're going to make sure that this is going to be an automatic file name. We're going to create our file naming settings. Once we do that, we're going to click OK. And basically, we've now set parameters for this to be shared into a file. We're then going to click Capture. We're now going to capture a specific area. And we're then going to allow our content to be created. Now what you'll notice is that you have the editor where you can then save the content into the form that you want. However, what we want to do is we want to have the file created automatically. So what we're going to do is we're going to minimize our Snagit editor. And we're going to turn off Preview in Editor. Now what we want to do is we then want to capture the same information. We want it to be shared into a specific file. We're now going to choose the folder where we want our content to be shared. Now once we've done that, we're then going to click Capture. We're then going to capture our image again. And this time, our file will then be created automatically. And what you'll notice is that we have turned off the editor preview. Now what we should be able to do is to go to our folder and find the file that we just created. And you'll see our file here that we created. If we double click it, you'll see the PDF file that we created. Now what we can also do is we can also save our content into email, into our document to be printed, and into our FTP format. Now, next video, we're going to look at moving our file into applications resident on our personal computer. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, when you're working with a particular image inside of your canvas, and you need to work with a part of the image, you can use these scroll bars to go through different parts of the image. But in most cases, that will not allow you to see the entire image. When that's the case, what you want to do is you want to be able to go to the View menu, and you want to be able to use either the Zoom In or Zoom Out. And in this case, you can click Zoom In, and you'll be able to zero in on something that you may want to work with one of the tools, or you can zoom out. And the most convenient way would be to use the Control and minus buttons. And this will allow you to make your image continually smaller until you get it to the point where you want to work with it. Now in other cases, what you'll want to do is you'll want to go to the View image, and you'll then want to zoom to fit. And so in this case, what you can do is you can click Zoom to Fit. This will bring your image inside of your canvas to the point where you can see the entire thing. You can come back, of course, to the actual size, or you can come back to use Shrink to Fit. That'll bring your image back inside of your canvas in order for you to work with it. Now, in order to use the pixel grid, you'll need to zoom all the way in. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the View command, you're going to click on Pixel Grid, and you're going to see the actual pixels in your image. And again, you'd have to be zoomed all the way in order to see the pixels at this level. And of course, you can turn off the pixel grid. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in the image menu, you also have an Effects tab. And what you're going to find in the Effects menu are things that you can do with the image in your canvas. For example, you can place a border, and you'll find border properties here in this area. And you can find other ways in which you can control the look of your final image. For example, we see edges and we see page curl. So if you want to control the way that the final image is going to process, you can use the Effects command. What you can also do is you can arrange the elements in the image. For example, we have here a way of being able to use a line. In this case, we have a few elements inside of this menu. For example, we can flip this image vertical. We'll go back. We can come back here and we can flip it horizontally. So we can use both the Effects menu and the Arrange menu in order to create the image in its final form in ways that will allow us to display the image effectively. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to look at sharing our file into desktop applications like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and Microsoft OneNote. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set Microsoft PowerPoint as the application to use. And of course, this is going to be similar to Word or any of the other Microsoft applications. Now again, for this video, we have turned off the preview and editor. So we're going to capture a specific region, and we're going to capture that region using this capture button. We're going to take a screenshot of a specific portion of the page, and then we're going to have our capture sent to PowerPoint in this case. You may get a dialog box here that says you're going to need to activate the busy program. You're going to click Switch to. And when we open up PowerPoint, you will see our image in our document. Now again, this is going to work the same way with the other forms such as OneNote and Word. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. In this video, we're going to demonstrate one of the newer tools called the Move tool. And we can go inside of the image, and we're going to go inside of the tools, and we're going to go to the Move command. And basically, you're going to see this Move area being highlighted. And what it will allow us to do is to move elements that we have placed inside of the image. Now, if you notice that this is a screen capture, so you don't have movable elements. However, one of the tools that Snagit gives us is called the Smart Move tool. And basically what it's going to do is to identify objects that we can move. So we're going to click on the Smart Move, and then it's going to identify certain movable objects inside of the image. Now this is going to take some time inside of your capture. Once you've done that, then Snagit will have identified certain objects which you can then start to move around. So for example, we're going to place our cursor inside of this gray area, and we're going to move this box. We're going to place our cursor here, and we're going to move this one. You'll now see there that we can move this image. And we can move other images around. So basically, what the Smart Move tool does is it helps us by identifying objects in our screenshot that we may want to move around and then manipulate in order to create the image that we want. If we double click inside of the text area, you're going to notice that the text is going to change. We can actually change that text. Again, even though this was a screenshot, we can change the text inside of this image. So basically, the Smart Move tool will allow you to get leverage over the image, even if you have a screenshot where you did not have movable images when you picked it up. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome. You are now looking at the website Screencast.com. Screencast.com is a Techsmith related website. And you will want to use a free account that you get with your Techsmith account, because you will then be able to share your Snagit content using Screencast.com by creating links with a limited free hosting account. Now what you'll notice is that if you have a free Screencast account, content that you've not used in over a year will be deleted from the website. So this is not going to be a permanent hosting site. Now you can upgrade to pay for a Screencast Pro account. As of the recording of this video, a Screencast Pro account is going to be $9.95 a month, and it will give you access to 30 gigabytes of storage as well as 240 gigabytes of monthly bandwidth. However, as stated, you can sign in and create a free account to integrate with your Snagit account. And you can do that with the same email address that you use to sign up for Snagit to create your Techsmith account. And with your free Screencast.com account, you can check into your Techsmith account, you can go to My Products, and you can look at your subscriptions. You should see your subscription to Screencast.com even if you have a free account, and then Techsmith will tell you how much space you are using and how much you have left. It will also tell you how much bandwidth you're using as well as how much storage you are using. Once you have your account, you are then ready to begin using it with the integration portal in Snagit. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, one of the tools that you'll use quite often when you have sensitive information on a screenshot is going to be the blur tool. And you can find the blur tool by going to the image area, going to your tools, and then if you come down to this point, you're going to see the blur tool. And basically what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to draw a box over the area that you want to blur. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to then draw the box here in order to blur that area out. If we want to control the intensity, we can do that. And then you can control the level at which the blur occurs. And again, using the blur tool is as simple as drawing a blur box over the area that you want to have blurred. Now in some cases, you can pixelate or you can change the nature of the blur by using some of the styles. You'll see the style change here, and you can use the styles as you see fit. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Now, once you have access to Screencast.com, what you can do is you can go to your share button, you can go to the drop-down menu, and then you can go to Screencast.com. What you're going to want to do is to click this gear so that you can put in your login and password. You're going to choose a default folder for your Techsmith account, or you can choose to prompt for the file name and folder every time that you do this. You can choose to put your URL and thumbnail on the clipboard. And then once you do that, you can then click Save. Now what you have is a way of taking a screenshot and then sharing that screenshot with a direct link. So what you're going to do is you're going to click this capture button and you're then going to take your screenshot. Then that image will be sent to your Screencast account. You're going to give that file a name and choose the folder. Once you do that, you'll then click OK. What you'll then want to do is you'll then want to view the link inside of your browser. Or you can click this button that says Get the Link. Techsmith will then give you a link inside of your browser. What you're then going to do is click this Share button. You'll then copy this link in order to give to those with whom you want to share, or you will embed the code into your website. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, in order to create a new canvas for a new image or multiple images, you're going to go to this File command. You're then going to go to this New area, and you're going to click New Image. Now, you can set the background of the image at the size at which you want and the color at which you want. Once you have your color and your size, you're then going to click Create. What you can then do is add your images to the background. Do that by dragging and dropping any of your recent images to the canvas. If you then want to change the color of the canvas, you can do that. You're going to go to your Image menu. You're then going to go to your canvas color. You can then change your canvas color. And once we have our image in our canvas, what we can do is we can go back to the Image menu and we can then click Trim. That will then bring our entire screen down to the level of the image which we can then save in the format that we want. What we can then do is we can click the Snap to Object area, and then we can save this image in the format that we want. Now in the next video, we're going to open a canvas and we're going to work with multiple images inside of one canvas. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now Snagit will allow you to share your screenshot into other desktop-based applications. So for example, if we go to this drop-down menu, you're also going to see here at the bottom, you have both MS Paint as well as Adobe Photoshop. So if you have Adobe Photoshop installed, you can share your capture inside of Adobe Photoshop for additional editing. You can also share inside of Microsoft Paint. So in this case, we're going to click on Microsoft Paint. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to capture a part of the screen. Once our capture bar is open, we're just going to capture the part of the screen. And then what we're going to do is we're going to see a place to put our file name. We'll then click Save. Then we'll see our image come into our program. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now you may want to have an image where you have multiple screenshots within that image. And to do that, you're going to go first to your File command. You're then going to go to the New selection. You're then going to click on New Image. What you're then going to do is to size out a new image with a transparent background. We're going to set the size of our image, and then we're going to click Create. That's going to give us a canvas. What we're then going to do is we're going to shrink the size of the canvas into our view. We're going to hit Control minus, Control minus. Now we haven't really changed the sizing. All we did was change the view of our size. Now what we want to do is we want to import the images that we want to have inside of our canvas. And so you can find any previous captures. And once you find the captures that you want, you can begin to incorporate them into your image. And you can do that from the recent area by dragging and dropping. So in this case, we're going to drag and drop one of the images that we want to have inside of our canvas. We're then going to drag in a second image. And we can size these images the way we want them. Once we do that, what we can do then is we can then trim the canvas. And so we're going to go to our image area. We're then going to click Trim. That's going to bring our final image down to the size of the two images that we use to form this multiple image. Now what we can do then is we can then save this first as a Snagit file. All we need to do that is to hit Control S. We're then going to save the image. Then once we've archived the Snagit file, what we're going to do then is we're going to then go to Style. We're then going to save this now as the final format that we want. And so in this case, we're going to change it to a PNG file. We're then going to give this PNG file a name. And we're then going to click Save. We now have a brand new image that we can use in other images, and we've taken two of our screen captures to form one image. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now we can share our content to multiple applications. So in this case, we can set our share link first to Screencast, and then we can come back to our drop-down menu, and we're going to add in another destination. We're then going to add in MS Paint. We can then come back to our drop-down menu, And we can add in another destination. We're then going to add in, this time, one of our cloud-based applications, Google Drive. What we're then going to need to do is we're going to need to make an adjustment to the options. So we're going to click on this gear, and then we're going to sign into the appropriate Google Drive account using our Snagit account. We're going to choose our Google Drive options, and then we're going to click OK. Now, when we create our share, we're going to have our content going to 3 places. And so what we're going to do is we're going to click the capture button. We're then going to go ahead and capture a portion of the screen. We're then going to make our capture complete. We're first being asked to save our file. And then we'll see that our document is inside of MS Paint. Now we'll also have a dialog box since we actually sent this to our Screencast account. So we're going to give this particular link and document a name. And then we're going to click OK. It's going to be shared to Screencast. We're then going to want to click this view link. Now, if in some cases you miss the opportunity to get access to the link, that link is then going to be inside of your clipboard. So for example, if we were to open up a new document and then we were to paste what was on our clipboard, we'll then see our Screencast link. We have a third option that we uploaded to Google Drive. So we're going to give this file name a name. And we're then going to click Upload. The file is then sent to Google Drive. To get the link to the location of the file, what we can do then is we can then paste the link to a notepad file where we can find it. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now you can use any of the videos that you have in order to create both a GIF file or a PNG file with an individual frame. So when you're creating a PNG file, what you're going to do is you're going to forward to the point where you want to capture the frame. You're then going to click this link that says Save Frame as PNG. You're then going to want to size it into the place where you want it to be. If you don't like your changes, you can click Undo. It'll take you back to the place where you want. Then what we'll do is we'll go to our File command. We'll then save this as a PNG file, and then we'll give our PNG file a name. And then we'll click Save. Then our image will have been saved as a PNG file. Now if we go back to that individual video, we can find that video here in our recent content in the clipboard. I'm going to click on top of that content. That's going to bring us back to the video. What we're going to do then is we're going to click this link that says Create an animated GIF from this video. We're then going to click the image, and then we're going to get this dialog box. We're then going to optimize for the purpose that we want. In this case, we're going to optimize for screen video. We're going to add in fade to black, and then we're going to click Create. That's then going to start the creation process. And then once we work through this creation process, we'll have our GIF file. What you'll notice then in our recent content is that you have a file here now that's indicated and called a GIF. You'll be able to click the play button so that you'll be able to see what it looks like. And then remember, because it's a GIF file, that this video is going to loop when you actually put it in. And so Snagit will do that as it will be inside of your PC. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now the third tab down is for video. And you can create a video with specific sections of your screen, or you can record an entire window. So in this case, we're going to record an entire window. And when we do that, we can then look at our option. We can use a specific selected window size or use a fixed size. We can choose to have the video previewed in our editor. We can choose whether we want to capture our cursor or whether we do not want to capture our cursor. We can choose to have our microphone on, and by default, you'll notice that the system audio will not be recorded. But we can record it and add it to our screen share recording. Now what we're going to do is we're going to click the capture button and we're going to create a short video. Now what you can do with this video, of course, is you can do a demonstration for someone using Snagit. So we're going to click the capture button. What's going to happen then is the window is then highlighted. Once we click inside, you'll notice then that this area will then be enabled. In order to start the recording, we're going to click this button, and that's going to start the recording process. There will be a countdown, and then you'll notice that the recording will then start. When you've completed the recording, then what you're going to do is you're going to click this blue button. That's going to finish the recording. The video will then be processed and will then be available inside of your Snagit editor. You'll then have the option of creating a GIF file or a PNG file with some of the frames. In order to save this video, you'll go to your file command, you'll then save this video, and you'll save it as an MP4 file. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Now, if you want to share your video using Screencast, you can use the direct integration. In this case, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the share area, and you're then going to click on screencast.com. You'll already have your account integrated, and if you haven't, you'll need to click this gear in order to set it up. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to go through the capture process. Then what we're going to do is we're going to choose the window. We're going to click inside of that window. Then the process is going to initialize. What we're then going to do is we're going to click the record button. And then once we click the record button, then the recording will begin. We'll then be recording our screen. What we will then do is we will then click the finish recording button. That will process the video. And then that video will then be uploaded to Snagit. Now, because we have the editor open, what we need to do to finish the process is we need to click this green button. That's going to go through the Snagit process. And then we're going to have our screencast.com link. We can either get the link from here, or what we can do is we can then open up a notepad file, and then we can then paste our link. Our screencast link will then be there in order for us to share our video. Now this can be especially useful if you are attempting to diagnose a technical problem, either as an individual in need of support or as an individual providing support. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. In conclusion, Snagit will allow you also to share your content to any of the existing Techsmith programs. For example, you can share to Screencast.com, you can share to Techsmith Relay, you can also share to the most popular program among the Techsmith family to send your content to Camtasia. What you're going to want to do first is you're going to want to look to the options that you have before sending to Camtasia. So you're going to click the options, and what you'll notice is that you can always save in an individual place every single time, or you can ask Camtasia to prompt you for the file name so that you can determine where you want the image to be saved each and every time. So what we're going to do is we're going to prompt for the file name. This is the most conservative way of being able to send your content to Camtasia. We're then going to click OK. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the share. We're going to go to Camtasia. Then we're going to click on Send to Camtasia. We're then going to be prompted for the file name. We're going to give our file a name. We're then going to click Save. then the file will open up automatically into Camtasia, into the active window that you have. Now, if you don't have an active project open in Camtasia, then it will just open up into a brand new project. You can then add this to your timeline in order to be used inside of your Camtasia project. Now, one other aspect of the share menu is this. We can go to the share area, and if you have shared your Camtasia content with other individuals, you can click the share history. You'll be able to find the links to your shares that you set up through Screencast. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you either in another video or in another course.